Soon, just today, yes, you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn. It was just past 1, when 2, 3 man with a 4, 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a backpack, run around.
Hey everybody, it's Liz from the Lemon Bowl.
Vince from Irie Kitchen.
And welcome to the Irie Lemon Podcast. Cool. Welcome to the Irie Lemon Podcast.
Yay. Welcome.
For those of you tuning in for the first time, I'm Liz from the Lemon Bowl.
And I'm Vince from Irie Kitchen.
And today we have two very special, close to my heart guests. Two of my good friends from Stonyfield Yogurt. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Christina, Director of PR at Stonyfield.
My name is Marie Denby. I'm the Mission Communications Manager at Stonyfield.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Thanks for coming here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So, to give some background, Stonyfield was my first client back in 2013. I always tell Vince that I worked for 3 years for free, so literally I got my first $100 Google check 3 years in. They don't send you a check unless it's over $100. They're like, we'll call you when it's over $100.
Still
That's
building.
Literally. So, long story short, we've obviously maintained that relationship for 6 years, both in a paid capacity and also even when we weren't working together at a paid level, we remained friends. And I've been to New Hampshire, we've met in Napa, so we've connected in different times. I've hosted retreats and you've been there, but it's super special to have you in my kitchen where I'm always cooking recipes.
Nice to see it in real life.
I
Yes.
know, exactly.
It's always different.
I'm curious about your guys' history. So, one of you guys to start first about how you guys got to Stonyfield before. I'm just curious to see how you guys got here.
Yeah.
I'll start. I feel like Christina has a very elaborate story on how she started Stonyfield. I always ate Stonyfield, even in college when I had like $6 to buy something for dinner. I made sure that like some of that went for like a quart of strawberry yogurt from Stonyfield. But my mom and my grandma actually used to take us for tours at Stonyfield when I was like 5 years old.
Cool.
So even though we still don't offer those tours, we don't offer them. But I just think it's a really crazy full circle. So when I got out of college, I really wanted a job that I'd feel good about. And when I was interviewed by Christina and our previous coworkers, they said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, honestly, I just want to be at a job that I can feel good at the end of the day. I can go home feeling satisfied, being really happy, telling people what I do, and like I just want to feel good about it. And that's exactly why I feel like Stonyfield is a perfect fit. So.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And she went home and immediately cooked a recipe and tweeted it. And I was
did.
like, okay, hi.
It was a great recipe.
What'd you make?
It was like a grain salad with zucchini and like roasted vegetables.
I was going to say roasted vegetables were in there
and
somewhere.
a yogurt sauce.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
That sounds really good.
Icing on the cake, I guess.
Honestly, smart.
Yeah.
What about you, Christina?
So I guess it started with reading Gary's book in college. And then I majored in communications and environmental conservation. So I wanted to work at a nonprofit that did something for the environment. Then after reading Gary's book, I was like, wait, that's kind of the perfect fit. So I got a job there like 4 days after graduation.
Wow.
But I was in HR and then I was in the phone department. So I actually took like the people that call the phone number on the yogurt cup. I answered phones. But I really wanted to be in PR, so I just kind of waited around until somebody kept hiring me in different departments, and then finally they had a full-time spot in PR, and that's all.
And we'll
history
link to Gary's book in the show notes, as well as his NPR
Yes.
His podcast,
Yes.
He's the coolest.
That's huge because I just listened to, I'm forgetting his name, but he used to be the ex-CMO for Chick-fil-A. When I'm hearing both of you guys, he was talking about you can't build a meaningful business without people who are fans of the brand. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy that you two both are like fans of the brand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why you guys been there for so long, and that's why you guys work so hard, because you give somebody a mission and a passion beyond a paycheck.
Yeah.
And like it's cool that like you both, the first thing you guys said was like, well, I grew up, I liked stuff,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, I read the book, and I was like, oh wow, like this wasn't like, oh, it was on Glassdoor, or someone told me to come work here, and then like you ended up liking it. It's, you guys are kind of mission driven from the beginning. I think, especially in like this generation, it's all about mission driven, like people that work. So that's, and that's super cool.
And it's a good lesson. I know Vince and I obviously are smaller business owners, so if we are hiring people, we've really learned. Sometimes it's like you learn it the hard way, or you gain from that it is really important to have your team, especially small teams, that are people that are passionate and that have buy-in. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That's so cool that you guys.
I think it's interesting too because like the millennial generation gets a reputation for switching jobs like every year or two, which I think probably happens. But when you work at a place that you love so much, like it feels like it's your own business.
Right.
You would do anything to protect it or make it better, and you just end up wanting to stay there for a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm curious
And
on
then
like
it's 12 years later.
I'm curious on like how your guys' day looks like. Like walk me through from morning to end of the day. Is it crazy there? Is it super organized? Like how's the culture? At Stonyfield.
It's very busy.
It's very busy.
I think Stonyfield is quick to try things, and they're very like nimble and will take risks. And so we're kind of always doing something new. And there's always a new product. There's always a new, thing that we're doing for the environment or program. So it's always something new, and our job is to get the word out there. So we're very busy.
Yep, and we do a lot of different campaigns. If it's for a certain product for kids or baby or adult, or if it's just for the brand in general, like our farm tours or any PR events, or putting on like our field day events like we are tomorrow. We're always planning something.
Yeah.
In any part of the country.
Yes, we travel a lot. So a lot of times we're not even in the office. But yeah, we do PR for all the products, and then for the mission, and for Stonyfields and farms. So we're only a 3-person team.
Yeah.
So
Well, and one thing that I really love is that you guys obviously manage your influencer relationships in-house. Many companies will outsource it to a PR firm, and you just kind of lose that connection and that relationship when you have to work through 3 different people.
Yes.
So it's probably similar to when a blogger has an agent and you have to keep working through layers.
Yes.
So I mutually appreciate that. And don't get me wrong, I work with many wonderful PR people.
Yeah, for sure.
And it works great, but there's definitely an added layer, which is that's more time and it's a lot more work.
yeah,
So it's really cool, and I think that's probably why we've worked together for so long.
definitely.
So today, I thought it'd be cool if we could talk a bit about working with influencers. I know a lot of people that listen, either whether they are influencers themselves or just consumers. I think these days you want to know why people are promoting brands. I think there's a lot of, as a consumer, are they just promoting it because they're getting paid? Like people,
right.
I think they get a little intimidated with all the influencer marketing. So I think whether you're an influencer or not, this is going to be a really valuable conversation.
Yeah, and like real quick before you guys get into that, talk about the field day, and then talk about the relationship between an influencer like Liz, and then I think people can get more of like a background how you guys pick influencers and like your side of it, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So our field day is just a arm of our big campaign, our Stonyfields campaign. We love our puns. Stonyfields.
That's genius.
And it's basically Stonyfield is helping communities and parks all over the country transition their fields to organic land maintenance and landscaping. So we work directly with experts in the field. Another one, who help the communities actually slip that in there. Who actually work with the communities to test the soil, see what organic maintenance will work best with that soil, because every town is different based off what's there. And then we work with the town to help spread the word, get awareness about it, and we try to get it like covered so more people see what these towns are doing. And it's really it's an awesome feeling to have, because we are surrounded by people who are very passionate about our mission in the office. But to meet these towns in person, it makes everything so special. And like telling people about the whole Stonyfields idea, they're like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That's amazing. Like, what a cool idea for Stonyfield to do, since we have plenty of farms that we're taking care of that are, and all those farmers are farming organically, and the soil's organic, the grass is organic, the cows are organic. So why aren't the fields where our families and children
Little
and
babies
pets
are crawling on the
are
grass,
playing?
touching their mouth.
Yes.
Which is crazy because I grew up eating organic. My mom used to like tell, like our yard didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you're a kid, you're like, all right, mom, you're being a little bit,
Yeah.
But it's like you only like, wait a minute, actually, like this is actually real life, like.
Yeah.
And I remember like, cause like I played in regular class when I used to play soccer. I used to get like my skin used to itch or football.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, there's something in this grass, but I didn't know if my mom was like in my head,
Right.
or like it was real life.
You're like,
Like,
she
Is this
did
actually happening, or
like, why am I itching right now? Why are you guys not itching right now?
We have grape leaves growing in my yard wild, and obviously being Lebanese, we roll grape leaves all the time.
Yeah.
And the other day we were picking them, and my aunts were here, and they had me try one raw, which was interesting for me because usually you get them canned like brine. And
Yes.
I wanted to know if I was going to cook them, what they taste like. You gotta taste every ingredient.
right?
Yeah.
What are we dealing with
That's
before
smart.
there's anything added? And he wouldn't try it because he's like, "What's Spain on these?" It was so funny. He was like, and he's hardcore with it.
Like Great leaves outside for your house?
He's
No.
like, meanwhile, my aunts and moms are like collecting them, but it's like such a like exciting thing for them to have like the access to
Yes.
fresh ones.
Yeah.
Especially if there's nothing on them.
Right.
You're like, cool. But yes, the field day tomorrow is our celebration for East Grand Rapids because they're transitioning 2 fields in 2 of their parks as kind of like a pilot fields for each so they can see how it works and how it all happens, see what the whole process is for them so they can start to look at the whole community. And
I'm so excited.
yeah, we're
gonna be
very
great.
excited. There's going to be games and like a lot of education on how you can even do this in your backyard, which is super
smart.
simple and obviously free organic yogurt. And so it's great. We're excited.
We can't wait to.
So influencers.
Yes.
So what do you guys think?
So
How do you guys do
why
it?
we have lovely Liz here? Well, first of all, we like when
Maybe
we
start with like the history of how you worked with
Yeah.
the person and also how that's changed over the years.
I'll let you start because you started the whole
What was
blogger
it? Yeah, that
influencer
was what
club.
We were just starting when I reached out.
Yeah.
Which
well,
is a
we-
great business move, by the way, too. So keep going.
Yeah, we're lucky because Stonyfield has been working with influencers literally since 2009 when I would like not, there was no technology involved. It was literally like finding bloggers that were talking about competitors and being like, hi, I'm going to send you coupons because I want you to eat our yogurt instead. You know, like it was so different back then. Like bloggers weren't compensated. It was, you know, people would write about your product for coupons. And I think it obviously has really evolved over time,
Yes.
and we're excited that Stonyfield's kind of embraced that change throughout. So we went from kind of like trying to find people that were talking about yogurt to then we formed the club, and we met you through LinkedIn, which we were just talking about last night, which was crazy, before LinkedIn was even
So
cool.
funny.
And so then we formed like a food blogger club and a parenting blogger club, and I think we had like 180 members at one point. And so they all got paid like a small stipend every month, and it was kind of like moving towards the direction of paying influencers. And then that became crazy because we were like
Again,
two people managing
2 people.
200
Yes.
bloggers. And I think you kind of started to lose a little bit of the touch of kind of like that one-to-one interaction because we had captains, which one of them was Liz. So anyhow, then we kind of said, okay,
Team
let's
captain over here, man.
take a step back. Yeah, could have done it without you.
Figured. I make jokes that she needs to be a team captain all the time. She's like, no, I don't. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Just coach.
Captain of the Clean Plate Club, okay?
So what I was wondering is what made you decide not to outsource that? Because a lot of brands I work with, I think that overwhelm that you felt is typically the time when they're like, okay, this is going to a PR firm. How do you decide to keep your influencer marketing in-house?
I think for Stonyfield, like we compared to other larger brands, don't have enough money to, you know, take a TV ad and put it out there or kind of do some of those big advertisement type of things. So it's always been really important for us, and Gary will say like the handshake with the consumer and getting the yogurt like straight to them has been core to who we are. And I think kind of taking that mindset and thinking about how we market ourselves, we would want the most authenticity with what the bloggers are talking about. So the best way to get that is just to work with us directly. So I think it's kind of just that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we do farm tours where we invite bloggers from all over the country to come and tour our dairy farms. They meet our farmers. They see a day in the life. They get to meet Gary Hirschberg, and he tells them all about how Stonyfield started and our mission and our values at the company. I wouldn't want another like PR agency doing that. No. Like where we are the company, like they're meeting us face to face, and it's a really great like transparent interaction that we get to have.
Yeah,
so.
and from the influencer standpoint, that's also when I'm picking the brands to work with. I only work with a few brands on a long-term basis. So to me, when you invest in things like a farm tour where I can actually go out and learn more about the product, you're helping me promote your product. So to me, it goes both ways. It's no surprise that my 2 longest clients, they like keep, actually 3, they like keep it in house. It's very, they've had me on several trips, and they really invest in us just as much as we invest our time and energy in being a loyal ambassador. You know, essentially we're an arm of your brand as well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
So how do you guys go and pick influencers? Like, what's your process? Is there like a target on the wall and you guys like throwing darts and like, all right, yep, is it quarter flips or like how do you guys I don't know. I'm not
Pin the tail on the
If I was there, I'm like, all right, I don't know what to pick, heads for her, tails for her.
I would feel like a funny video now of you two in the office, like flipping a quarter. Susie Sneakers in Idaho.
You guys don't know how many important decisions I've left to a quarter flip.
He's not kidding.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not. I'm so serious. Like even sometimes we're like, should I go left or right?
I like it.
Left we going. He's like, no,
Fate
you
takes
can't
you.
go left. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go left. Like quarter said to go left.
Adventurous.
Well, actually, just like the influencer world, how we choose influencers has definitely evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Where before, I feel like we just had like a weird algorithm that we'd use to find different people, and then we'd find like people that they follow who are like-minded, and we always try to find bloggers who are. They don't have to be like true long-term fans. Like we always like introducing Stonyfield to people, even if they don't fully eat organic or like fully invest in all organic foods and meats and dairy. It's really nice to bring that to their attention and tell them a little bit more about our product, so that it's just like an entrance into their life that they can tell their fans about too.
Smart.
So
I think for us, it's super important to find people that have really strong engagement.
Yes.
We want to work with people and influencers who we know their audiences really trust their opinions and they are just authentic about what they're talking about and, you know, aren't doing sponsored content like every single day. So we're looking for kind of a balance of content, strong engagement, and then like Marie said, at least some sort of interest in health or organic,
Yeah.
but you don't have to be 100% eating organic every day, all day.
But we also don't like, we'll find influencers and like if someone's posting every day at like McDonald's and then says,
Yeah.
I'm a really true fan of organic, like we're like, I think your fans engage in a different part.
Right.
Right.
So that's always, but we definitely do our homework. Like we don't just pick people and are like, they look
No
cool, they
coin
look
flips,
cool.
son.
Yeah,
We
no,
read
unfortunately
a
no
lot
coin
of posts.
flips.
Like we'll go back, we'll scroll back through
Yeah.
Instagram posts, we'll scroll back through Pinterest, we'll read blog posts of all different content, we'll do keyword searches. Like we do a lot of research before we
I
invest.
can always tell when a brand's researching me because I'll have like a search term that's not like, you know, curry chicken is not like slow cooker. It's like literally the brand name. So they're probably
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if I talk about them.
Yeah.
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 It's always
Yeah,
kinda
we've
funny.
done
We do that too.
Yeah. No, that's smart though. That's, I mean, because websites are so big, how else are you going to find that stuff?
Yeah.
So it makes sense to do that.
So do you guys prefer an influencer reaching out to you, or would you guys rather prefer just doing it like?
Great
I'm sure this
question.
influencer like, oh, should we send you guys an email, or is it like, or DM, or is it like, no, we want to find you. Like, how do you guys go about it?
Either is
Either,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like we're happy to read emails and whatnot. I think though we have really busy inboxes as we all do these days. So as long, I mean, it's interesting because we get, and my email is on the website, so I get a lot of emails, and I think a lot of times it's easy to tell who has actually on the other end done their research about Stonyfield,
So
and
walk me
those
through
will
the
stick out to me.
perfect pitch. Like, what's an email that you're going to reply to as opposed to an email you're not going to reply to?
Yeah, sure. So probably somebody that emails me and like calls out the specific product they use and how they like it, what they do with it, maybe why their kid likes it. Maybe they pull out something about Stonyfield they read about our mission that they like. Wow, I just read you were activating the Stonyfield campaign across America. I never thought about pesticides before. Something that just shows me they took the time to learn about our brand or are already naturally a fan of the brand, rather than more of like a template kind of cookie cutter email.
Yeah, I think a lot of influencers get into trouble when they're literally copying and pasting a blanket pitch to like 20 brands that day.
Yeah.
It's similar to we get them from PR firms, and you can
Yep.
tell they're emailing probably 100 bloggers that day.
Yes.
They've not researched my website. They've not researched
Exactly.
You know, and I think that it's funny how it goes both ways.
Yeah, it really does.
But it's not. It's also not rocket science. Like to me,
No.
it doesn't take. You just have to put a little bit of thought into it, and remember that people are more savvy. They're going to pick up on whether or not you've done your research.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just kind of, I feel like a waste of time because those
Yeah.
emails just get lost. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they stick out to people.
And in this age, you can't reply to every email, right?
No.
So when
No,
you're
I
picking
barely
the
reply
email,
to
No,
text.
I'm bad.
So if you're gonna like, I know for my inbox, if I'm looking at which emails I'm gonna reply to, the ones I'm not going to. Reply
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
The blanket pitches that there was zero, customization. I'm probably not gonna reply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in your brand and your brains is working with influencers more like a brand play versus sales play? Like you guys talking a lot of like mission driven, like people who care about
Like
your brand.
building the brand.
Yeah, like instead of like we need you to post this because we need you to sell 1,000 yogurts right now. It's like what's your kind of like
Yeah.
your mindset behind working with an influencer? Because go back, I've like I'm a little bit younger, right? So there's girls who are gorgeous that I grew up with who have like a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's not a whole bunch of like, people that actually were following for them, right? It's like weird dudes who are following them, right? So like, but I see them get like these crazy like brand deals, and I was like, okay, does this brand like know that like you have 100K,
They're not really influencing
but 50,000 or 80,000 is like weird dudes who are following
They're
you.
influencing
Target audience
yes,
right there.
Yeah, it's
Who
like
aren't going to buy
Target
the bronzer
audience.
that you're sponsored by.
yeah, I'm sure no
Yeah.
dude's gonna buy bronzer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not saying he can't. I'm just,
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That is right.
That's
this is
true.
real life though.
I never
Yeah.
thought about it's like bronzer companies. It's like all these cute girls. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Like, you think other?
But I
you
guess
know?
how do you measure return on investment
Yeah.
from your influencer? Like
It's
what is worthwhile?
Both. I mean, to answer your question, it is, I think, a little bit of it's absolutely brand awareness and engagement, but it can be sort of indirect. For we don't sell product online direct to consumer, so it's a little bit more difficult with that. But we can, track click-through rates. We can track traffic to our website, traffic to our product pages. So I think it's a combination of, of course, the reach, the impressions, getting the word out there, but also being really diligent with what you're tracking. And we can see, after the influencers we work with, some of the really strong and engaging influencers, after they post a recipe, including our yogurt, like we've seen spikes in traffic to our website to the quartz page up to like 300% in a day.
Yeah.
So we can track that people are actually like reading this content and saying, oh, I might actually want to try this product now, and going to our website, which is great.
Is there a reason why you guys don't sell online? Is like laws, I'm guessing, or no, or just not yet?
Just not yet.
It's dairy and refrigerated, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit trickier than like
Yeah.
sending directly like something that's not perishable.
Yeah.
It's so accessible, I feel like,
Yeah.
compared to some other products. Like I feel like you can find it I've seen
Music to our ears.
Yeah, I know.
in
Like,
my mind, Grand Rapids is one of those areas that if I can get access to it, most people can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We don't even have a Whole Foods here, so
Right.
Also, it's a big dairy like community.
Yes.
Like everyone here, like the Midwest, so you're not eating eggs
yeah.
and milk.
Yeah.
You're not
You're
surviving.
We
Right.
just went.
It's cold. It gets colder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just at.
we need the cheese layer.
Yeah, we need
Oh
to.
my god, yes. We were just at Meyer actually, and we were like, look how big this yogurt
yeah.
section
The yogurt aisle
is.
is crazy.
And I told you it was really far in the back. Right?
Yeah. We're like, this looks like our craft beer section of
Literally.
just New Hampshire beers.
I know.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed. I was like, I wouldn't even know how I would pick
Yeah.
a yogurt.
Yeah.
So to that point, we were really excited to see our shelf talker about the
Yes.
Stonyfield
Yeah.
campaign
Yeah.
right by the
Meyer
yogurt.
really is wonderful
sticking
for
out.
the wide selection, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, love you, Meyer. But no, they really have such. That's honestly why I like to work with Meyer, because if I have to access, you're not local to me, so if I'm working with you and I want to get certain varieties, like the sweet potato specific,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so nice that they have such a wide variety. So
Well, we were excited. We had never been to a Meyer before, so we were like, "What's this like?"
Explain
And it
your
was
experience.
So nice.
did you love it?
It
It was
Yes,
beautiful.
it
I mean,
was
sparkling clean.
Clean.
It's such a variety of
People
products.
friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The woman was very
Oh, they
nice
were
and
very
greeted
friendly.
us,
She
and-
was singing a song to us at the cash register when we were leaving
yeah.
about a crab. It was
I don't-
funny.
I don't know.
Was
It-
it cheaper here than the East Coast? I mean, maybe New Hampshire. I always find it so cheap here. Sometimes you probably didn't pay too much attention.
It wasn't cheap. I
Oh,
would
okay.
say it was
Interesting.
affordable, but it wasn't
Okay.
like a
dirt cheap.
dirt cheap
Okay.
discount
Yes.
price.
Okay.
Yeah, it was normal.
But it was
Okay.
just such an enjoyable experience. I looked at her when we were like walking through the aisles. I'm like, I could just hang out here.
Oh yeah. That's honestly why I do the online shift a lot, because my husband's like, you'll get into trouble.
Well,
Yeah.
But, no, we're gonna stick to online.
Yep.
But yeah.
And like from business, they've been crushing it lately. So
Yeah.
if you go at the wrong time, you're in Meyer.
Oh yeah, you don't go on
Okay.
a Sunday.
There's been times where I've
Okay.
been like
You're in it.
because just like
Halfway day.
everyone's going,
Yeah.
and it's like once you get and like
Yeah,
I'm a
it's like
dude, right? So I
overwhelming.
go for one thing.
Right.
So I'm pissed because I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's like a mom in front of me like, can I cut? No, I can't cut because she has 4 kids and she's probably stressed out
Yeah.
more than I am.
Yeah.
So I'm putting my headphones in and be quiet, right? Because your
Yeah.
son's running around like, oh my god. This
I
is,
know.
Okay, so my question is, and I love asking all clients, what are some of the best wins that you've had working with influencers, and maybe some of the misses? that-
horror stories.
Yeah. So
You gotta name
maybe-
any names, but
Yeah, let's not call anyone out.
you totally can. I'm down for that too.
I think we have a lot. We have a lot of like really great stories when we work with influencers. I don't know if we have too many horror stories at all,
that's good.
but one of the most recent ones was when we worked with influencers to talk about our Stonyfields campaign, and seeing their readers and their fans respond to their comments. Those comments were amazing. These people had aha moments and talking about how proud of Stonyfield they are, and when we get to share that type of engagement and reaction from an influencer's work with our company and our sales and marketing team, it's the best version.
Well, just today I did a little Instagram live before you got here because I really wanted to explain the significance of you guys being here. And I had someone write me right away, you are so lucky to live in a community like that. She's like, I've never been to Michigan. But so, of course, me, I'm like, hey, Michigan.
Yes!
Because Michigan doesn't always have the best rap. But people, I think, I'm probably going to start to see a lot of that as we start to talk about it around here.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I'd never thought about how that would be. You've been working on this for, months. Yeah. So to see that's got to be pretty rewarding.
Yeah, we love it. We capture all of our favorite comments. We put them up on big PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
Look, the real world cares.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just us.
These are real moms. These are real families, and they really care.
They really care.
It's exciting to see it.
Yeah.
So is your target market the mom, pretty much? That was your main...
Millennial moms, for sure, is our target consumer, yes.
I think it's been for years.
I feel like it's everyone's target consumer right now.
Yes, it is. That's it.
It's kind of a nice time to be a 30-something mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're making the decisions for the household, and you're picking what your child is eating. And for us, our kids brand is definitely kind of one of our biggest brands.
Yes.
So you're making the choice to feed your kids something healthier, free of pesticides. We know that millennial moms care about that.
Correct.
And
we're willing to spend more money on food.
Yep.
So
on a brand you can.
Correct. I was born
trust.
in the 80s, so I'm at that edge between the two. But obviously, being a blogger, I tend to connect more with millennials.
Yeah.
And my biggest audience is millennials. So I feel like if I have the money, if I have disposable income, my goal isn't to spend the smallest percentage of my income on food. I would rather spend a larger chunk of it on higher quality food. And I'm sure your parents relate. You've been hardcore organic your whole life. And in general, it's going to be more expensive. But the more we all buy organic, the cheaper the price.
Exactly.
My family used to explain it it's relative. Right, so if you're buying a bag of Doritos and you spend $20 and you get 50 of them, you think that's the cheaper version, but in reality, when you're 80 years old and someone's cutting into you, you're spending $50,000 on surgery, so you see, I see both sides, so
totally.
And it's crazy to me because I'm just thinking how I grew up eating Stonyfield yogurt.
Yeah.
I looked in I forgot to take a picture, but I was my mom has Stonyfield yogurt in her fridge right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's this has been at least has it been how long you guys been in business for?
Since 83.
Yeah, at least I was gonna say I'm 23, so I've ever since I can remember.
He's fueled by it.
I love it.
Of yogurt and which is cool because more to yogurt, but it's cool that you guys have been in business that long and doing the right thing. Did you know we started as an organic farming school, not even a business? No, I didn't. I don't to be honest. I don't even know the history at all.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun, and actually, you should listen to Gary's podcast because it knocks the socks off of any of storytelling we can do. But
in the show notes for sure.
Yes,
it's such a good.
It's
a crazy
Gary is just
story though.
The best. Yeah. So tell us.
He has just he's to see Stonyfield now and the fact we have jobs there and hearing how it started of barns going on fire and only getting their driveway and road plowed if they left Jack Daniels in the mailbox for the plow guy. It's crazy. I just he definitely had a lot of determination and passion and spirit to keep going because
I always
so
think
many
of that
setbacks.
machine he had to invest in, that Greek yogurt creating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All that perseverance. As entrepreneurs ourselves, it's just those hurdles and to keep going through it. And again, when you don't see what your future will be you have to really just believe that things are going to be better. And in the end, I think of the 3 years where I didn't make any money. I always say to Vince, imagine if I quit at year 2.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't quit at year 2, and I was not making a literal dime.
Yeah.
I think it took 9 years for Stonyfield to be profitable too.
Yeah.
It's
that's such a good lesson.
It's crazy.
9 years to be profitable.
And I think it's interesting, the difference of his podcast on How I Built This. I think, and I listen to it all the time. A lot of the stories are hey, I wanted to start this, I got it going, and then it was a success, overnight. Gary's super blunt about how many tragedies he faced and things along the way that most people would have said no to. But so he gets emails all the time from people that listen saying like, thank you. Like it inspired me because I'm going through those challenges and it makes me realize that if I just like stay with it, then it's possible to have success.
It also speaks so much to like his character too, because he ended up being a success and he's still one of the most approachable people I've ever met in my entire life. So if I had never met him in my life and I saw him at a conference that we were at and like people would go up to him and be like, I'm starting a business, like can I get any type of mentorship from you? He's like, he will go have coffee with them. He started like an entrepreneur institute where he has like new startup companies come and listen to like the CEO of Allbirds and like he's there and it's really great. He just wants people to succeed.
Yeah.
So he'll do anything he can.
He really is so approachable. Like,
Yes,
and
he really is.
Him like in a van. And
He'll just hang out.
He's like, hey, want a banana? I brought some snacks.
Organic, of course.
Of course.
So, well, one time we had a talk about the Dirty Dozen, and I remember I literally came back from the Napa trip, and that's when I went 100% like produce organic, which I mean, if you guys know if you knew what I spend in groceries every year, one year it was like $17,000. So as a food blogger, and I'm a healthy food blogger, and I just eat healthy foods, and I have no control. So, anyways, we spend a lot of money. So to go organic is like a commitment. But I remember what he said to me that literally changed. And I was already doing, for the record, meat and dairy. I feel like that is the starter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, well, as long as the Dirty Dozen, then I'm okay. And he was like, okay. And then he had like
Broke
his
down for you.
briefcase. Oh no, he had like flyers and brochures, and I'm very numbers driven. But what he said to me, which somehow clicked, is that you're feeding your children, and a banana to a kid is a much higher percentage of their volume than an adult. So the pesticides and chemicals or whatever in that piece of food is going to have a much larger impact on a small human being that's like 80 pounds. A grown man that's 200 pounds, like maybe they could get away with more, but you cannot, like the impact on a kid is even higher. So I was like, okay. And at the end of the day, an organic banana is not that expensive.
Right.
So short of buying like organic filet mignon every night, I always say, we all understand that, like smaller amounts of meat, like there's ways to do it affordably. Yeah. But it's just so funny, like going organic didn't even cost us that much more money.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably can save you more money in the future, like healthier kids.
Exactly.
Oh the sickness.
Preventative
I bet he would have a sheet right now.
He does.
Here's the exact facts.
Food is not cheap. That's his favorite quote.
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy because this year is the first time I've been sick like twice in like forever.
Yeah.
I've been working more, but also I've been eating at places I don't do organic.
Better.
And I think that's like part of it, but I've been working way harder before too. So I'm like, I'm working a lot.
Restaurant hours, working double.
Yeah.
So I work 100 hours a week, right? And on top of that, I'm like eating
your
every
body's
day.
tired.
Yeah.
Your body's tired, so easier to get sick. But it's crazy because I'm getting older, right? But it's crazy because it's like when I was growing up, like
you never got sick.
we never went to like the doctor. Like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
if I was sick, I was faking sick, right? Like, I was never really sick ever. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was like I'm sick today, but I'm not really sick. It's just like it's crazy when you think about it. Like, wait, if you actually eat organic, you do feel better. And I can and I think my body's so trained that like yesterday, I thought I was throwing shade, but I felt that hot dog. I was like, man, it was good, but like it wasn't.
Well,
right? And so and it's like I can eat at places.
And
Like,
every time
like,
I eat at Irie Kitchen, which is all organic, I never feel, even when I like stuff my face and eat too much, I never feel gross.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's always, I mean.
Yeah, Jamaica has like a saying like food's supposed to give you life. Like it's not supposed to like bog you down.
Yeah.
And think about how much food in America, all the restaurants that surround yours.
Yeah.
That are the chains and the process.
Yeah.
Give you food comas.
Yeah, there's a fast food chain next door. I'm not here to throw shade, but it literally got like 20 cars in the drive-thru every time I'm like, I want to like bring out Irie Kitchen samples and like, if people, I think, even when I like lost weight, you realize, even like working out, like no one wants to work out, but once you realize how good you feel, you realize that while it seems more appealing to sit on the couch all day, the feeling that you get from
to remind yourself of that.
But it does take a little bit of thought. Okay, so we talked about what you've liked about influencers or what's worked well. I guess short of having like any funny horror stories, what are just what would be an example of an influencer you wouldn't want to work with, or what are maybe behaviors you've seen? Because I know there's going to be a lot of influencers watching this, paying attention. What should they avoid if they want to work with brands, whether it's your brand or not?
It's like mission driven, like you guys are.
Yeah.
Right. Not like we have $1 million. We're just trying to give.
Yeah.
We have to spend $1 million, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
no, we have this much money.
Yeah.
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 That,
Yeah. I would say, so I think obviously the world of influencers has grown so much. So there's a lot of influencers out there now.
are there ever?
Yeah.
Because in theory, everyone's an influencer now.
Yeah.
If
It's
you have
even
a
like
phone,
the
yeah.
descriptions are changing of what they are. But I think we like to work with, number one, overall authentic people. So people that really stand behind the brands they're posting about, people that use those products, that care about that company's mission. And you know, like you said, you don't work with every client that comes your way. So I think, you know, the balance of sponsored content versus not sponsored content is really important. And then again, like I said before, just like the high engagement, showing that your readers really are into what you're talking about,
Right.
is
Like,
super important.
You don't want to see like someone who has like 100,000 followers
Yeah.
and only like, and then they have like a ton of likes, but like one comment.
Yeah.
It's
right.
like, okay, so
Well, and I
don't
heard
understand.
something recently about how the micro
Buying clout.
influencer, well, right? But how like the micro influencer like me, where I'm not a Kim Kardashian with millions of flowers. She probably has millions of flowers in her house right now. Like those perfect
Roses.
oh my god,
Yeah.
every day.
Must be nice.
But you know how many people they were explaining that like you know when she is selling something like she's not literally influencing as much buying behavior as far as like percentages. Obviously quantity it is because she has so many followers, but the micro influencers are actually more influential because I'm trying to understand how they explain
Well, I think
it.
like in the lens of like this community, right? So Eastern Rapids, like there's a lot of different cities around here, but Eastern Rapids is like the epicenter of like culture for like Liz's world, right? And so like a Liz is like an alpha mom,
Right.
over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Liz says like drink copper, like right, or eat Stonyfield, like people are like gonna go.
No, they do.
Like,
Yeah.
because it's like, well, Liz doesn't. That means all her 5 friends are gonna do it. I mean, my kid is not gonna bring
Right.
not Stonyfield. Like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of right. It's like that's
Think about that.
I've seen it. It's real life. So like, people like so a micro influencer in a community like Grand Rapids or
Yeah.
like New Hampshire, like every this like these little cities, right? That people like.
Or my
People
pocket of
trust-
Instagram.
people
Right?
trust her,
Yeah.
your judgment
Yep.
and your
Your judgment,
opinions, and because if we tell them like this is organic, this is healthy, like it's a healthy product you can trust, and why would you listen to a brand like because
Yeah.
you're just gonna think like oh they're just doing this for sales, they just want to like promote like their new products or
Right.
whatever. But if it's someone that they're already following like
Yeah.
you, or like it's your friend following you, they're like
Right.
oh like okay, like Liz has done her homework on this clearly and she trusts that brand.
Right.
And
They
Right.
probably care about
So you guys, and Gary will say this too, like influencers have so much power
Yes.
to
Yeah.
make a change in the food movement and
Absolutely.
to
That's true.
get your voice out there around these issues and these causes. Because like Murray just said, you know, millennials especially don't trust brands.
No.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Like we kind of grew up a little bit differently in the way we think about brands and advertising.
Right.
But
you always say you've been sold to your whole life. Like in terms of from
Yeah.
the channel, you've been inundated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's why influencers who have strong followings with high engagement are so important, because you can help get like this
Yeah.
the mission and you know, just organic out there.
Yeah.
So it's super important
Right.
to us.
Absolutely.
And it's fun to have like actually like meaningful messages.
Yes.
It's really nice to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I want to peel back some layers on like you guys seem like mission driven people, because you guys keep talking about Stonyfield, but I hear more than what you guys do day to day, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking about people need to eat organic. We need to get people like we're changing parks. We're changing like so you're not really talking about the yogurt.
Well, Gary
It's
always
like
says.
the yogurt is the
What
thing,
does
but
Gary
like
always say?
we sell yogurt, but we're not really selling yogurt. So I want you guys to like kind of like peel back those layers too.
He
Like,
figured it out.
Right. So wait, you want me to talk about the yogurt?
I mean,
It's great. It's so good that
It's
we
good,
don't
I've had
even
it.
need to talk about it. You know you're gonna
picked
love
up
it.
on though what Gary already said.
Yes.
His mission is to help the environment. He
Yes.
doesn't really care about something.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right.
He's
Well,
not a yogurt.
actually, it goes back to what I was saying about how we were founded. We started as an organic farming school. Gary and our other co-founder Samuel had a few cows. They were trying to educate around organic farming, and then they started making some like kimchi and some other like fermented products just to sell a little bit and make some money for the school. And then they were like, well, yogurt's probably a little better than kimchi. This was the 80s, so like no one was probably eating kimchi back then.
What is this?
Especially like organic kimchi. So, so then they started selling the yogurt, and it actually was a hit. And they sold it, you know, in some local stores in New Hampshire, and it kept spreading and spreading. And they realized that if they could show that a business could make a change in the world as far as the environment, organic, sustainability, they could probably make a bigger difference in the world as a business doing that than as kind of like a smaller nonprofit in New Hampshire. So then they took the direction of turning into an organic yogurt company. And so that's how it all began. So it was always more about the yogurt than just the yogurt itself. But I will say, our whole milk plain yogurt is really delicious.
No,
that's my favorite.
The biggest
Cook with it all the
fan
time.
of whole milk
Me
plain
too.
Greek.
Yeah.
Our Greek is ridiculous. I like always swap it out for sour cream, and no one ever knows.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
every
like, you're
time
welcome. I just cut like so many of those calories and fat out.
And every time I post the whole milk, the full fat, I get so many responses.
Yeah.
Thank you for promoting full fat dairy.
Yeah.
So tasty.
Everyone rallies around that, which I really love.
Yeah.
I've been making this dish lately, which is just like ridiculously easy, but so quick.
What is it?
Okay, so I roast like whole carrots in the oven for like 25 minutes, make them super like crispy and roasted. I just put them over like a bed of plain whole milk organic yogurt with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of za'atar, and it's like
perfect.
amazing. Like I've
Sounds really
had
good.
people come over who are not foodies
really
who like
good.
really don't care about food, and they're like, "Wait, what is
And
this?"
that was my 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's the thing where people, I think that's my biggest mission, is realizing that cooking from scratch does not need to be complicated.
Yeah.
And it can also be super affordable.
Yeah.
You know? So, especially organic. There you go. That whole plate's organic.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a
just
good idea
protein.
though for you to sit on for a second. Like 4 ingredients, you should do like a series of 4 ingredients, like
Yeah,
recipes for like
Yes.
quick.
I do have a big 5 ingredient.
You do,
My 5
yeah.
ingredient recipes are quite. Not like you challenging me in 4 ingredients.
Or 5.
Or just pushing me. I'm always like, olive oil doesn't count. Salt, pepper, like you.
Yeah,
you
right?
love
Yeah,
that.
salt,
No,
pepper,
like the-
they
if
don't
you
count.
want.
But as a like, well, to like go off that though, as a chef, I always tell people like you only need salt, pepper, and garlic.
Yes.
Yes.
Make
That's the
anything
base
taste
of
good.
everything.
Everything else is just a little finesse, a little extra,
Yes.
right? And like you really want to get chefy, you can. But like people like I remember with Matt, right, our video guy, like we were in his cabin, right, and like I mean they had Dr. Pepper there. They had a can of Dr. Pepper. We had like some meat in there and salt and pepper, and I was like, all right, I'll make dinner. They're like, the store's like 40 minutes. I'm like, no, like with this. They're like, there's no way you're gonna make dinner right now. I'm like, bro, watch. And it was like so like, and they still talk about it to this day. Like, yo, that was actually really good. I was like, yo, you only need like salt, pepper, and
Yeah.
garlic. Like
Yeah.
you can make it work.
You
And
can
I think-
MacGyver
Sweet,
any
salty,
meal.
sour.
Yeah.
Mhm. So at the company, how many people are working there now? What's the total number of employees?
Just about 400, and
Yeah.
that's
Oh, wow.
including people who are in sales across the country.
Okay.
And the people
all
who
of
make
our
the yogurt.
all of our plant workers who work incredibly hard and all shifts because it's a 24-hour obviously company. We don't shut off at the end of the day. But yeah, it's a big
400
small
people.
company, but
So
it's very tight knit. Everyone knows each other. Like
this is what I asked. Like, so everyone knows each other.
Yep.
So we talk about this too with our businesses. Like you can instantly tell you're a bad egg. Can you guys tune your culture? Like, she's not gonna make it long here. Or like, just cause like they might be like, they might be pessimistic. Like, can you like pick this? Like, oh man, like, or do you guys like try to like put them somewhere else to see if they do better? Or do you guys like,
Stonyfield.
you should go work at like
Yes.
McDonald's right down there? Like,
No.
McDonald's corporate has a position. We should like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean like Stonyfield is a very welcoming like community, and if someone like hypothetically was not performing in the best way in their job, they'd definitely be like, okay, well, exactly, like what else can we put you in
What
here
other
that
department?
would interest you, that like really furthers your passion for it. But at the same time, if Christina hired someone on the public relations team who was like, oh, I really like conventional. Like, why are you guys like organic or something like that?
We didn't do this.
No, I know. But like, then it's like, okay, so like,
You gotta-
but we have so many people who apply to Stonyfield who are again actual fans, and they're super passionate about the product and the mission. So it makes it really easy to like hire people.
Yeah, I bet that gets easier as you have like your brand, versus the very beginning.
Yeah.
When it's like there's nothing to speak of. and
Yeah.
it's like just trust me, it'll be cool.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's so good that you've established such a wonderful
Yes.
brand.
I'm figuring how to like place this question, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm not too PC. So how many like women are like power in the company? Like, is there like a lot or
Actually,
not?
we
more?
think it's really funny. When we have our all hands marketing team meeting, there's one,
Like
two, three, 4 guys.
Yeah.
And it's how many women? Like 20 something.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a woman-led
like
marketing team.
Yeah.
Marketing for sure. And then the executive team, our CFO is a woman. Our general counsel is a woman.
CFO.
Our
amazing.
VP of manufacturing is a woman, and
Oh,
she
that's
is a total
awesome.
badass.
Yeah, she runs like
And-
Ironmans and
Oh,
she's
wow.
amazing.
Like an
Yeah.
actual bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this goes back to
Our
my
VP of
theory,
HR is a woman, so we have a lot of women.
Yes.
which is huge, right? I kind of felt it. I was like, there's probably a lot of like female energy there, but like,
Yes, we're both like, yes.
you're like,
Let us tell you.
No, but like me and Liz talk all the time. Like, yo, like intuitively, I can't tell you why, but I want like a lot of women working for me. And I have a twin sister, and like me and my mom are like really close too. So it's like for me, it's like, but I just feel like women just do things better. And I'm sorry, guys, but like also like I like appreciate like a lot of stress women have because it's like I watch my mom do it. And I watch like other women like wait, like she's like probably a wife, also a mother, and then has a job. So like.
Yeah.
Like me, you give me like remember I'm one thing to the store.
Right.
You give me 5 things, I might forget something. Like I might like stress out. These women like kids and like
I
remember
can't
everything. I'm like,
tell more than like 2 things at a time. Like the whole
I made a joke because my boyfriend called me one day and he hates grocery shopping. I was like, you need to get groceries. We're out. There's nothing. And he calls me. He goes, oh my God, did you realize each aisle has a sign over it telling you what is in the aisle? And I was like, you're being facetious right now, right? And he's just like, no. I'm like, what happened?
fine, look up. You know him because I don't look at like the signs and I'm like stressed out. I can't find something.
I never do either. I'm so stubborn and I'm like, oh, just look up.
And the lady's like, like potato chips right here. I'll find. I'm like, I mean, like you could like.
But no, this is part of why he also encouraged me to start this podcast because a lot of women also, I think even when I was starting the blog, like adding the children into your business is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
A little tricky. That's an understatement of the year. But I think, you're younger, you're a young millennial and you start off, many people these days want to be entrepreneurs, want to start their own business.
Yeah.
But even working, I mean, my best friends have like 9-to-5 jobs and I'm like, how do they get their kids to daycare, put on makeup and
I
high
wonder
heels
this all the
all
time.
the time.
Like women blow my
Yeah.
mind.
How-
Moms blow my mind.
They do it.
I can't even.
It's so impressive to
Yeah.
me. Really,
My-
like the
my,
level of like things you have to do just to get out the door in the morning,
I
and then
can't-
go perform in a high stress
Correct.
job, come home, take care of the kids,
Right.
it's
They do it.
Literally.
really amazing. It's
Getting
impressive.
Sleep, like
That'd be impressive.
anything. Yeah.
But I will say for me, having kids made me more efficient, and then my business took off because when you do have less time,
Yeah.
you don't waste time.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
work
So
harder.
I'm super efficient. I think that's the thing with mothers. Like they just had the first pregnant CEO on the cover of Inc. magazine, and I was like, this is so cool. I think there was a time when men they'd be, oh, she's gonna have a baby, she's might as well assume she's not going to be helping out anymore because she'll be so distracted, and
Right.
she'll be like calling
Men.
out sick all the time.
Yeah.
And the actual
I feel
reality
like
is
that's
mothers
getting
are,
pushed though.
I agree. And so how, like, what's that? I'm sure many women in your office get pregnant and have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I became a better worker when I had children because my time was more limited.
Yeah.
And you have to multitask when you're keeping small humans alive. all day.
Right.
Because you like have to take a shower and like hope to God they're
Yeah.
like there and alive. Like
Yeah.
there's so much multitasking, and then you're like literally feeding them.
Yeah.
Like,
They're-
physically feeding them
yeah.
for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I have to go on a business trip, but they
Yeah.
won't eat if I leave the house.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many logistics that people don't realize.
That dudes don't have to think about.
No.
Yeah.
So what is that like working? I have the luxury of working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So are there leaders, female leaders there that have babies? Like, how do you guys obviously, I'm sure, embrace that health situation?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have pumping. We have really nice pumping rooms.
Yeah.
and we try to.
really like welcome. them.
We have a
Maternity
good
leave
maternity
is
leave
really
program.
good. We have a paternity leave too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So, and all the guys, I'm like, the women are great. Like, we're very women forward and excited about it. But the guys we work with are amazing, and they all have like kids and wives that they're like, they only talk about wonderful things about their family.
Yeah.
So it's really sweet.
I love that that's kind of like changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see like reverse? Like when there's less women in the company, they're like, okay, like the dudes are being dudes, and they're not taking me seriously. They're not hearing me. Like, do the dudes like they feel that way, or is it crazy supportive? And dudes are like, wait, my life is so much easier because like they're thinking about things like, how do you guys, from your perspective, did you say they're outnumbered, like they're not listened to, or they feel like more like,
interesting.
or they feel like, oh wait, like there's things that I didn't think of. Like I know, like when you do things for me, I don't even think about, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know I was hungry, right? And I was like, you know, like,
And then you
like,
put
oh, I
this
totally forgot I was,
delicious
yeah,
pasta
I
in
totally forgot I was,
Last
I
week
totally
we had a
forgot to eat.
podcast run late, but we had a video shoot. Like he literally had like a window that he had to be fed, and I was like, I'm gonna make his lunch real quick.
You're like, I got
Because
you.
no one wants like a hangry.
Yeah.
No.
I'm in a bad mood. I don't even know why. Like, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong with me.
Right.
I'm like, no, something's wrong with you. It's like, oh, I'm just probably hungry. Like, definitely didn't connect the dots, you know?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I think. Wait, what was the question?
Yeah.
I had an answer for this. The women are really good about reminding, I think, the men when they need to of certain things, and so people are good. They behave.
Yeah.
So-
Everyone behaves.
That's so cool.
I
That's my like PC answer to that question.
Yeah.
No, it's what I felt like. Yeah, dude, still a man.
Like you're asking the director of PR that question.
Yeah, good point. Long story short, I think your theory that women are amazing is correct. And Stonyfield is proof of it. So, I guess, like, as we start to wrap up this episode, what would be a few, again, talking about influencers and working with influencers.
Yeah.
What are some of the more creative activations? So, as an influencer myself, I love to do new and unique things with influencers. So,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of live events this year where we, like I started a Beats and Bites series where I throw like a cocktail party and incorporate their food into a live event where instead of just like writing a recipe online, they can actually taste the food and see it used in different ways and, have an experience that's memorable with music and that's something that they're going to talk about for years to come. So what are some other creative and unique and successful ways you've worked with influencers?
I definitely like meeting them in person. We get like more creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
So that's a good tip if you have an opportunity when listening to go to maybe a conference or a retreat or like Expo East type of situation.
Yep.
That's to establish those relationships because then you can really brainstorm. Like we did a dinner last night.
Yeah,
just coming up with
exactly.
new ideas to work together.
Conversations like last night or conversations that happen like even on the bus for the farm tour are where kind of the magic happens, I think.
Yeah.
And like to Ryan's point, being in person with people, we become friends with influencers after.
I know.
Yeah, I was about to say that like seeing someone like on Instagram like Liz like and meeting her in person is like, oh wait, because I met Liz, but I didn't know she was like as bubbly and as energetic. And I always tell her like, yo, your energy is infectious. Like, you can instantly tell. Like, even when I came in, I was focused, and like they were like, why are you so quiet? You can tell like Liz is like so. I look like I'm not happy right now, and I'm like, no, I'm like focused. I'm just doing the work right now. But like her energy is infectious. As soon as I got up and like we started cooking, like I'm ready, I'm like up here already, like ready to go. So isn't that kind of cool? Like meeting influencers, like, oh wait, they're actually like as cool as they are on Instagram.
Because it is not so fun. I've met a few influencers and like in person, they're not as fun.
Oh my god, your feed is so cool, but oh my god, you're not.
It's just sometimes it doesn't click in person. It's totally fine. But people do always ask me. I mean, people often say, "How do you get all these, clients and things like that?" And I really think I love to travel, so I worked in hospitality. Travel's in my blood, so I would go on press trips. I took a red eye from Bob's Red Mill.
You
to
did.
a press trip.
That was crazy to literally walk out on the farm with us.
I don't think I've ever taken a red eye again in my life.
Yeah,
so
no. Yeah.
But I would only do it for you two. But I really do value and prioritize. I mean, I traveled while I was nursing and pumping and all of that. But I think that is the reason for my success. To your point, you can't make those relationships. I mean, Twitter can only go so far. Mm-hmm. So I think listening, if you have a chance, and also if you conferences can be expensive. Well, what I've done is I've actually hosted retreats. So bring them to you. Yeah. So just don't. I feel like you can make an excuse for anything. Like if you don't have the money to go to a conference, also find a sponsor.
Yeah, we have sponsored conferences in the past for bloggers to go to conferences. And to your point about the retreat, I mean that's been one of the most successful ways that we have built relationships with bloggers. Like Braid went to your retreat, met a whole bunch of really great influencers, and we still have relationships with them to this day.
And that was years ago. Right, absolutely. And that's really great to hear from you because obviously when we pitch it to sponsors that have never done it before, it can come off like we're just trying to get like a free weekend getaway. And like, let me assure you all, I'm not looking for a free travel.
Yeah, you're like, I'm good.
Like, I would rather travel with my family and not be working.
Yeah.
This is not a free trip. This is really... We all work from home alone throughout the country. We don't work in a corporate office together. So for us to be able to learn provides a lot of value for the influencers because we can pick each other's brains And then for you guys to come, we can learn from you. I mean, I would much rather hear from you about what I can do better versus just like chatting with another influencer,
Right.
Assuming like
Right.
let's all come together in a casual
Go to the
format.
top.
Totally.
Yeah. So I highly recommend planning retreats, and I have a couple blog posts about how to do that, which we can link to because people are always like, okay, well, how do we do it?
Right.
So,
But if you can't meet people in person or do a retreat or do a conference, just like constantly remain authentic to your brand. It's so important because if we give an influencer talking points, we don't want you to just like boom, boom, boom,
Copy and
paste it in there
yeah.
like as a paragraph. Like the people we work with are really like they get it, they understand, they weave in any type of like descriptions of the product or something we're doing like Stonyfields, and it's great for the brand to be able to show that as an example. Like this is what working with influencers is like, and our marketing team continues to value that year after year. So
Oh wow.
And I think one of the questions they asked at my Expo East panel the other week was, do you give like super prescriptive talking points and you have to say this, you have to say that, or do you let them run with it? And I think it's totally, and you guys know your audience the best. You know your creative angle the best. So we like to give some messaging and like, hey, can you weave this in about this product? But really letting influencers run with whatever they think will resonate the most has been successful for us. Plus, you guys are super creative.
Yes.
Like, they asked for a creative example, and I was talking about how we had an Earth Month campaign this year, and we were focusing on our pouches. And we said, can you weave in some talking points about what you're doing for Earth Month or get creative with the product? And we had one of the bloggers take the pouches. Obviously, the kids ate them, loved the new product. And then she made these, like, beautiful, like, purses, mini kids' purses
so she totally
out of the pouches.
Okay, that's genius.
Like, reduce, reuse, recycle, upcycle. And they were beautiful. I'm like, I want one of these pouch purses. I'm like,
so
what? And that's
smart.
something we would have never thought of on our own.
If,
So,
like, she was only allowed to do your idea.
right.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
Exactly.
if we told you what recipe to make, that wouldn't fit with your blog.
Right,
Like
right.
we love
Not
when people
authentic.
give us
Exactly.
We love
You
when
guys are
people give us the ideas.
EFMPs. Makes no sense. I'm also an EFMP.
Exactly.
And maybe it's not authentic. We don't want to be part of it.
It's true though. I think some of my best, most impactful activations are when I had the most flexibility.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we were launching the Beats and Bites party. It's not super like common to throw like a hip hop dance party with, for a brand. And it was Cassidy at Bob's Mills, and she like wrote back within an hour. Yeah, go ahead. And then literally it was such a huge success because I wasn't limited by tons of red tape, I guess you would call it. And I think it empowers me. And by having that freedom, I'm gonna go like well above what. Whereas if you put the criteria, I might just do that and then end it there.
Right.
She never said like 3 Insta stories and 4 of this and 5. So guess what we did? 1 million of everything. You know what I mean? Like we just went above and beyond. So I think that's really cool that you guys.
I need to meet her in person.
You've never met?
She's great.
No.
Oh, she's like the West Coast version of me.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's that?
Maybe we just need to have a retreat.
Yes. Yes.
A merger, collab.
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause we basically, it's funny because your products are always like consumed together.
I was about to say like
They do go well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We grew up eating bulgur wheat with plain yogurt. Like that was like our side dish every night for dinner.
There's a thing right there. Idea.
Yeah.
There we go.
Delish.
Because I grew up eating Boston Mill stuff too. So.
Yeah, true.
Love it.
Yeah, they have tons of organic. So.
Okay, so time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Episode 5 on Influencers Mission with Stonyfield. You guys can do an exit. Tell us where to find you guys on socials and follow the Fields campaign and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for having us. This
Thank
was
you for
great.
coming.
Really fun.
You can follow us on social just at Stonyfield, STONYFIELD. There's no EY in there. And we are Stonyfield's Play Free Mission. You can literally just do www.stonyfield.com/playfree. And follow us along on social. We'll be out tomorrow at the field day, and you guys, we always have some fun Instagram stories too, and we have a lot of great recipes like lovely Liz here. So
You can check out the hashtag #PlayFree too.
yep.
Yeah.
Hashtag
exactly.
play.
Great.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks
and
for
I
having
can't
us.
wait.
Yay.
All right.
Thanks.